Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com. And it is the dog days of summer. Everybody's planning vacations. I was just talking to Jason this morning. We're working out all our details. We're going to have some time off over 4th of July. Right now, it looks like the day after 4th of July will be closed. I will say this, the Colorado office for Patriot will be closed pretty much that whole week of 4th of July. So starting what January, what would you say it is?
June 29th.
June 29th. June 29th through about, let's just say July 11th. But Jason, metals plans, a little update here. I know Brittany, we're down to the last little bit here. She's going to have all our metals plans done here. And Jason, you'll have yours completed before the end of next week.
Yeah, I think more than half of them will be done after today. So all the pickups in Colorado will be done as soon as you answer my phone calls. That's basically it. And if you can get that done before Wednesday next week, you can have it in your hands. If you don't pick it up by Wednesday of next week, you're going to have to wait till a couple of Mondays past the Monday after the 4th, basically. Is going to be the next time you can pick up your metals program. So I'm trying to get everyone in before the July hits, Joe.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do before people head out on vacations. Just really quickly, we don't talk a lot about the metals plan. Well, not as much as we used to in the past, but it is really a fantastic way to buy gold and silver. It's a really simple process. You leave a credit card on file with us. You select the day of the month you want us to charge your card. You pick the amount. The minimum amount is $100 a month. There is no maximum. Right now, we have several people doing $5,000 a month. We got a bunch of people at $100 a month and everything in between. And then you get 4 physical deliveries a year. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. June's the end of the second quarter, and these are the deliveries. And it's a really seamless way of being a constant buyer in the metals programs. Obviously, if you're at the low end, that $100 a month, $100, $200 a month, it's going to be a lot more silver than gold. But we do a really good job of mixing it up. So if you've been in the plan for any length of time, you're getting gold, you're getting silver. The really neat part about the plan, we waive all the credit card fees. So as you know, you pay with a credit card, you pay more. But in the metals plan, you don't. Also, the only fee we charge in the plan is a shipping fee. And as Jason pointed out, you can pick up at our Colorado location or our Arizona location if you're in the States there and save on that. And then other than that, there are no fees. There's no setup fee. There's no cancellation fees. You can put it on hold at any time. If something unexpected comes up, you need to put the plan on hold. It's simple. Just call us and tell us. You can change amounts. Jason, you can do just about anything in the plan. And it's really, really a great way to be constantly invested in the gold and silver markets.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to get you guys more busy in Arizona, but unless you want to come in and say hi to the girls in Arizona, or if you want to come in and say hi to me or whoever you're picking up from here in Colorado, the cost of gas is making the shipping look a lot more affordable, Joe. Because you're coming from the Denver area, you're going to blow through about 3 gallons of gas at $5 a gallon. So
let me tell you, you talk about sprawl, the valley. Holy smokes, it's a whole tank of gas probably to drive from one end of the valley to the other. We ship predominantly FedEx now, for those of you that don't know that. If you're one of those people, we can ship UPS, we can ship post office as well, but we primarily ship FedEx. And those of you at the low end of the plan, we do all we can to minimize the shipping costs for you, so it's not too bad. And it's really, man, we started this plan, I don't even know how long ago. It is massive. So one of the great things, too, about the plan, you're always buying things like it's on sale, because we pool all of that money together and make these buys. So we're buying it at the best price. You're getting the best price. So there are advantages in that plan, waiving credit card fees, buying things, on sale, and like I said, 4 deliveries a year. So you're the one, the product's going to be, wherever you decide to have it, Jason.
Yeah, I talked about it on Faking the Truth yesterday a little bit, that, in this day and age right now with this inflation, and people are going back over their budgets now, maybe on a monthly basis. How much is this going to cost them per month? How much is food per month? How much is gas? And suddenly, the extra money for buying gold and silver might be a different number, until we figure out how bad inflation's going to keep going. This is pretty easy, because you could just have your monthly bill. Hey, I'm going to throw $300 a month into the metals program. At the end of a quarter, you got $900 worth of metals coming your way. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to overdo it, Joe, or underdo it, right?
Absolutely. You do have to call to sign up for the plan. Details are on our website, 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're coming right back. We got a great show and a great special. 800-951-0592. Jobless claims out today, staying right at that 229,000 level, and one of the things with the Juneteenth holiday, this number should have been lower. I'm expecting a higher number next week, but then you got the 4th of July holiday, so these numbers could get a little skewed. But some big layoff announcements in the last 24 hours. We'll start with J.P. Morgan. Big cuts coming in their mortgage unit. Not a surprise. I don't think anybody's shocked by that. They said that J.P. Morgan announced that they'll be laying off well over 1,000 people. Staffing decisions this week result in the changes in the mortgage market, which basically just highlights, as we know, right, home sales, refinances, big slowdowns. Winnebago says that all of a sudden, now this has been one of these things, right, RVs have been red hot. Winnebago announced that, and this was yesterday, that the company is going to slow production for the rest of the year. They are now saying that they're going to have days and weeks that they will be taking off and shutting down. They're saying that especially through the summer months. Winnebago says they are evaluating the September through December period as well. And Jason, I think this is probably, you chalk this up to an absolute direct correlation to really high gas prices, really starting to hurt the RV industry as well.
Yeah, I had a clip that I hadn't had a chance to play. I have to go dig it up, but it was an RV guy, and he does a YouTube video. And I think it was back in April I had mentioned this guy, Joe, that he said back in 2008, he's been in the business. And in 2008, it went from red hot, everything was going, and then it just very quickly just shut off. And back in April, he said, the same thing is happening now. He said, there's one difference. It shut off even faster this time. He said it came to a dead stop, not just a fast stop. It came to a complete halt in RV sales.
Yeah, when you look at what the CEO of Winnebago said, it's one thing to take, hey, we're not going to produce today. Everyone take the day off, or even, hey, we're going to shut down for a week, or even 2 weeks. But really, what he said was, hey, we're doing all of that, and oh, by the way, September through December, we may have to do even more. To your point, Jason, I think they're worried that this thing has slowed down in a big hurry. And then this one this morning, again, really caught me off guard. One of the top aluminum manufacturing plants in the United States, Century Aluminum out of Kentucky, says they are closing the entire plant starting August the 5th, and say the plant will be closed for the next 9 to 12 months. And they said the reason they're shutting, unprecedented rise in global energy prices. They said that the unprecedented rise from the Russian war with Ukraine, and again, I want to highlight this because, you know, they that's their go-to, the Russian war. Just to understand, we are the ones that decided to put the sanctions. Right? I want to be clear on that, right? It's not that the Russians decided to do it, but neither here nor there. They said that the dramatic increase in energy prices in the United States, of course, this is, and they say around the globe, but obviously this is a plant here in the U.S., the cost of running the facility has more than tripled in a very short period of time. Given the circumstance, it is necessary to fully curtail operations for a period of 9 to 12 months. All employees, Jason, are going to be losing their jobs. And again, this is something we've heard about this in Europe, right, where they had plants that was like, okay, energy costs so high, it doesn't make sense for us to be in business. This is the first one I've seen here in the U.S., Jason.
Yeah, Joe, I was watching some Big Short clips, you know, from the movie, and well, this is a timely year, I would say, to be watching that movie again, because all the stuff that they show in that movie from the housing crash show, it's like a repeat. It's like the sequel. It's happening. So I mean, everything you just said, I'm just thinking of these clips I just saw last night. So yeah, you know, if there wasn't so much salty language, we play them here on the show regularly. I don't know if we're going to clean them up with Jaquint and get some of them, because some of the stuff, some of those scenes, you know, are so relevant as to how the system works, and how, and you know, we're going to play that Catherine Austin Fitts thing tomorrow, and a lot of the stuff she says is exactly what's in that movie. And I mean, remember, these guys shorted the housing market because they figured out that it was going to crash, and then right before it actually happened, all these guys holding those toxic assets, they liquidated them and knew that they were bad, sold them to somebody else so that they didn't hold the bag. I mean, how corrupt is that, Joe?
I'm going to say this right now, and I don't take any pleasure in saying it. Wall Street is acting the exact same way again. So Jay Powell's, today's the second day, there's a 2-day testimony. And today he made it very, very, very clear. If he wasn't already clear enough yesterday, he said the central bank's commitment to driving down inflation is 100% unequivocally, unconditional. This is what we're going to do. In other words, trying to tell, and I think what he's trying to do, Jason, is send the message to Wall Street, listen, rates are going to be a lot higher than you think. And on that news, I'm like, okay, here we go. This is, Wall Street's probably going to be down. The 10-year note's probably going to be flying. No, Wall Street's up 100 points, but the 10-year note, which was almost 3.5, a week ago, is, I want to call it a collapse, but it's falling like a stone. It's at 303 right now. Almost like, yeah, okay, we don't believe, right, this credibility of the Fed at stake here. And I'm going to say this. I absolutely believe, without a doubt in my mind, the Federal Reserve is going to hike rates much higher than Wall Street thinks, and really we are getting ready to enter into the next major economic collapse. The warning signs are everywhere. By the way, the Japanese yen, we keep watching. another, 30-year low on the Japanese yen. And now there's people out there saying that the yen could go to 150, the yen could go to 200. I mean, these are unheard of levels as Japan continues to print money at an unprecedented pace. And then over the weekend, overnight last night, Germany has started warning, Jason, about a Lehman Brother type event, saying that the natural gas supplies in Europe are ready for complete collapse, and saying this would trigger a Lehman-style event. And remember, Germany's been warning about massive bankruptcies and all these businesses going under because they're not going to be able to afford the energy prices. And it's very interesting how the paper markets want to ignore it all.
And Joe, I'll differ on one part that you said, which is Wall Street doesn't know about the rate hikes. I think they know. I think they actually knew. I think these guys, at least the big end. I don't know about the small guys or the medium-sized guys, but last year I think they were already preparing for this, Joe. They sold off their small and medium caps. The market was already going into a slow crash last year as these smaller companies were getting crushed already. So now we hear the bigger companies starting to sell off. I think they were all pricing it in. I think they know this is where it has to go. They're all helping each other out, Joe. The Fed, the government.
I guess my point is that I agree with Jason 100%. They're setting you up, right? They keep putting your money into the markets, right? As let's face it, every paycheck you put that money from your 401ks. They're throwing it in there, and what we're going to find out, to Jason's point, like he was talking about with the mortgages. Hey, right before the big collapse happened, the bankers stuck it on other people and headed for the exit, and you guys are going to be left holding the bag. And news breaking now, chemical giant BASF. These guys are huge. Just announced that they are going to start cutting production, and they're saying the reason given surging gas prices, saying that it is making manufacturing almost impossible, and they're saying that they're going to start cutting production effective immediately.
And if you cut down on making chemicals, and I know a lot of people like to go all natural, I'm one of those guys too, but chemicals are all around us. It makes everything in our life right now, whether you like it or not. If you cut down on the chemicals being made, Joe, that's everything. That means everything has to stop being made. I mean, I was just looking at a clip yesterday. This guy Jeremiah Babe, he has a YouTube channel. Sometimes he does these on location videos. So he's at a car dealership. He was at a Ford dealership. Hey, an American car dealership where the parts and the pieces and things that you need are essentially, should be, and some of them are still made here. And the guy, he talked to this one car salesman. He's like, well, yeah, this week I might see 3 customers. So it used to be I'd see a half a dozen to a dozen a day. Now it's down to like 3 per day. And he said one of the big problems we're having with the inventory is because he's like, we're having shortages on parts. And so he's like, well, you talk about chips? He's like, yeah, well, it's chips, but it's also other parts. He's like, well, what parts? He's like, well, all of them. He said they're having shortages on all of them, Joe.
And again, I want to stress, this is an environment we've never seen this before. And think about, take BASF. Just saying, it's so expensive, we've got to stop production. The plant, the aluminum plant in Kentucky. Hey, we've got to stop. We've got to close. We can't operate. And all of a sudden, it creates shortages. Which what? It actually does. Yeah, now it drives the price up even more. And we're in this, it's a death trap is really what it is. And to Jay Powell's point, I think Jay Powell knows it. These rates are going to be much higher than you think, regardless of whether or not the economy's in recession. Take today. Well, we had the manufacturing data come out, and just a cliff-like drops. We don't see drops like this. I mean, we would for like if there were certain things like a big hurricane came in and shut down production in 5, 6, 7 states or something like that. No, it's business as usual, right? Everybody's reopened. You would think that this number would be fairly stable. Manufacturing dropped almost 5 points, which is really big. This is one of those ones where a 1 or 2 point drop is a lot. And they were estimating a 1 point drop. It dropped 5 points. The U.S. service sector, they were expecting that to not drop at all. It dropped several points as well this morning. These are the weakest numbers going back to June of 2020. And remember, that was during the height of COVID shutdown. So, Jason, not a real good picture here, but this is exactly what we've been saying is going to happen.
Absolutely, Joe. We'll talk more about it on the other side of this break, and we'll have to hit that special, too.
800-951-0592. And before we get to the special, we've just got this really, really interesting market right now because every one of the economic reports is saying slow down, recession, slow down, recession. And at the same time, Jay Powell, more than a matter of fact, we had a couple of central bank governors out today saying, so here's the new, looks like the new plan as I see it right now. They're staying 0.75 point next meeting and then 50 points thereafter. Jay Powell yesterday says, listen, we want to be at least 3.5% before the end of the year. And then you get the economic data out, and all of a sudden the bond market gets confused because all of a sudden manufacturing and service sector look like they're going to go negative. So that means, hey, the economy's slowing down. And Jason, I think we're in this period here where what we've been telling you is going to happen is starting to show up in the data. And think about just today. We get one of the biggest aluminum plants, one of the biggest aluminum plants saying, listen, we're shutting down for up to a year. Because they know it. Listen, energy prices aren't going anywhere. Oil prices aren't going anywhere. Matter of fact, there's been a sell-off in oil the last 2 days because of the recession worry. I'm going to tell you right now, even with recession, that's not enough. We've got to be major depression before oil prices really come off. Germany warning about Lehman types events, saying that there's no way we've got enough natural gas. And then BASF says, listen, we're going to stop production because it's just too expensive to operate. And Jason, it's really an interesting market because on the one hand, the Fed's raising rates. On the other hand, it looks like the entire economy of the world's getting ready to go into recession.
The inflation messes everything up. People don't know what to do. I got the clip. I'm going to play part of this. It's a 2-minute clip, Joe. You need to hear this. It's that car dealer talking to Jeremiah Bay. But there's one part that I'm not going to play. But this is what the salesman. This is what he does. He gets to talk to people about their finances while he's selling them a car. It's a good place to be if you want to know what's going on. And he said, you know what? A lot of these people just aren't buying cars. It's stopping because they want to save their money and hold on to their money. And I'm thinking, oh man, that is what you should not. What are you going to put it in a bank account? And because you're worried about the cost of bread and fuel. This, you've got the money. Maybe if you're going to buy a car, maybe you better buy that car because you don't know how inflated things are going to be. They show cars during this video, which I won't play, but like a Mustang GT, kind of a sporty car, the normal version, $90,000 out the door. A souped-up version, $130,000 out the door. A Ford Bronco, $90,000 out the door. It's ridiculous. And then Jeremiah Babe asked him about the problems. Jack, play this real quick so Joe can actually hear it, and not just me saying it. Play this little piece.
And so what is the issue now that we're not seeing these lots full? Is it the chip issue?
It's the chip issue, and then plus this like parts issue. So
Parts.
Like, they can't get the parts for it.
So let's talk about that really quick, because you're the pro here. Parts. What kind of part shortages are we seeing now here at Ford? This is an American company. We're not talking Audi, Mercedes, or BMW.
No.
We're talking American Ford. What kind of part issues are you running into?
Really, like everything. Like there's tire. Like I tried getting new tires for my Camaro, and I had to wait like a month just to get them available to get them. So it's tires, it's everything, and
alternators,
everything. And now even car companies are going to start producing cars with missing features that their car's supposed to come with just to get production out there. So, like, if they have adaptive cruise control, now the car won't have that just to get production out there so people can buy cars again.
That's good, Jack. So, and Joe, we've reported this many times, but just to hear the actual salesman saying it out loud, and then he goes on to say, well, people are just going to hold on to their money. Uh-oh, Joe, isn't that when I talk about the peanut butter jar, where the big players, the peanut butter is basically theirs. They pull the peanut butter out of the jar, and all that stuff that's stuck to the side during the growth cycle, that's all of us. And they come in with that spatula and clean it just completely dry and take what's left, Joe. And that's what holding on to your cash, I think, really is doing. Are you going to try to hold on to that stuff stuck to the side, or are you going to try to be a fish that's kind of near the whale, feeding off the whale? Because really, I'm not a Wall Street banker, Joe. I can't be the whale, but I can sure try to protect myself as if I know what I'm doing.
Well, I'm going to tell you this: the warning signs are there, and this is what happens because people they don't know what to do, right? They're like, well, maybe the prices are going to start falling, or it's going to get back on the shelves. It's not, and this is something where Jason's right. Inflation just messes things up in ways that people don't realize. And right now, with energy prices and everything else, Toyota just announced, listen, we're cutting production again, right? They can't produce the vehicles. How about the stamping company? I did that yesterday. Saying, listen, we gotta shut down. We gotta lower production. We gotta lay people off because we don't have the parts. And remember, the China shutdown. We're just now seeing this stuff start showing up. So it's actually going to get worse because it's a 6 to 8 week delay. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And I advise all of you, please continue. Add to your portfolios. If you haven't bought gold and silver before, today may be your day. We've got the 10th ounce American Gold Eagle. We got a little bit. We got 10th ounce American Gold Eagles. They're $240. We are the cheapest in the country it's not even close, by $30, $40. At $240, it's the size of a dime, and then we call it the golden dime. It's $240, and then we have 50 rolls, and we do not have any more. These are non-replaceable. 50 rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles at $695 a roll, and just to give you some perspective on that deal, and I'm trying to dig through my trash here because Arlene always takes care of me. Yesterday they were $760, so $65 off. We've got a whopping 2 cases. That is it. So we got great barterable material, Jason, with 10th ounce gold eagles and U.S. silver eagles. Rolls of silver eagles, $695. Roll 10th ounce American gold eagles at $240. 800-951-0592. When we get back, we're going to shift gears. Tell you what the Bank of International Settlement says the future money's going to be. 800-951-0592. Apparently our stream is down at 1360. They keep wanting to attack us, and I get it. They don't want this stuff getting out there. We'll get it back up ASAP. But before the break, was talking about the Bank of International Settlements. They came out, so they released what they call an annual economic report. It's like a book. I mean, literally a book. In this book, they dedicate an entire chapter, 42 pages, to the blueprint for the future of the global monetary system. And I'll just read you some headlines in it. They say the cryptocurrencies have structural flaws that make it unsuitable for the basis of a monetary system. Instead, monetary systems built around central bank digital currencies, which are a digital representation of central bank money. Oh, there you have it. There you have it, right? This is going to be the laying out of the new money. They say that there is only room for very few of the crypto underlying technical features like programmability and tokenization. However, there is not room for cryptocurrencies themselves. So, again, I just telling you what they're saying. And I've said this all along. I love the thoughts behind the cryptos. I just don't see the bankers allowing it. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Our broad conclusion is captured in the motto. So they come up with a motto. Yeah. Bank of International Settlements got a new motto. Anything crypto can do, central bank digital currencies can do better. So there you have it, right? Yes. Anything crypto can do, we can do better. Very interesting. Again, like I said, reading this thing, I'll just tell you, reading this thing, it's enough. If you've got a sleeping problem, seriously, first I would try our CBD products because that's very helpful. But outside of that, go ahead and download the Bank of International Settlements 2022 Annual Economic Report, and I promise you'll be asleep pretty quickly, Jason.
Yeah, it's hard to read stuff like that. It's one thing to hear people describe what it is. That's a little better because that's a person can digest that communication. But when it comes to reading, it's meant to make you run away from it. But Joe, I saw this little conspiracy theory on a guy on a channel, and it made a lot of sense the way he was putting it together, especially the way cryptos really started to run hard after the housing crash. And he said, this was a way to get a new generation of people away from gold and silver. He's like, it really shouldn't compete with gold and silver. They're too small markets compared to some of these other markets like housing and some of the equities. But he said, look what they've done. And he said he thinks this is a purposeful effort to get younger people and to get some of the gold and silver people to start piling their money instead of into gold and silver, piling into this. They always use hey, this is a currency. This is outside the Federal Reserve. The same thing you could say about gold. And then look how they just crushed it. And all of that money that would have been in gold is now gone. And that's going to make younger people not want to go to gold because it's like, well, I've heard this before. I ain't going to gold. Think about that, Joe.
Well, again, they try to the digital gold and all that. Obviously, it's not.
It's not.
What we've witnessed this year, it just isn't, and it was never meant to be. And I don't know. Maybe that was the plan. But for me, I will tell you right now, the one part that's absolutely true, this happened after the housing collapse, and we got into the Lehman situation. And I really believe this wholeheartedly. This last 15 years has been nothing more than buying time. All of the things that were supposed to have crashed during the financial crisis are going to crash because they didn't fix anything. Right? What did they do? They printed paper. They printed debt. They covered it up. They didn't fix too big to fail. The systemic risk, it's actually greater. I mean, think about it. We've lost almost a couple thousand more banks since too big to fail. They've just been waiting, and it's obvious to me, Jason, with all think about just in the last 90 days, we've heard from every central bank, the IMF, the Bank of International Settlements now, right? I think they feel like, hey, we're ready. We're ready now.
Yes.
And let's go ahead. Jay Powell's letting everybody know inflation's out of control. We're going to have to cause the next Great Depression, and it's unconditional. We're doing it. I don't care. And this is what's going to happen so they can usher in the crypto after.
Yes.
After all of this and all of those things, all of those assets that were going on, they have to. Because we know that's how it works. The problem is they built the system where systemically, guess what? If one goes, they all go. It's like dominoes. Patriot Radio News Hour. Man, these guys are good. We'll be back. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here. 10th ounce American Gold Eagles at $240, and then rolls of Silver Eagles. We don't have very many, but this is a big one. The Silver Eagles, I mean, you're talking $65 off. We had 50 rolls when we started the show, and just for perspective, that's $3.25 an ounce less on Silver Eagles today. $6.95 for a roll of 20 at 800-951-0592. I don't need to tell you that pretty much, we're about the cheapest in the country on both of those items. 800-951-0592. If you've never done business, don't be afraid. Just call the 800 number. Arlene or Connie or Brittany's going to answer. And all you need to tell them is, I'd like the special. That's it. And on this one, since we've got two, they'll say, well, which one? And you may say both. Oh, I want a roll of Silver Eagles. I want a 10th ounce Gold Eagle, whatever, because that's going to be our big, tough question. How many? Just so you know. We don't call our clients. We don't sell your information. We're not bothering you. If you call me today and place an order, if you never call us again, we'll never hear from you again. That's just how we do business. 800-951-0592. And Jason, this is going to get rough here. 2 months ago, Boeing said it was leaving Chicago. Earlier, I guess it was late last week, Caterpillar said it was leaving Chicago. Today, Ken Griffin, if you don't know this guy, he's one of the richest men in the world. By the way, the wealthiest resident in Illinois. He runs Citadel. If you haven't heard of them in financial words, they're they're humongous. They are what they call a market setter. He just announced today Citadel is leaving Chicago. They're headed to Florida. If people aren't safe here, they're not going to want to live here. I've had multiple colleagues mugged at gunpoint. We've had a colleague stabbed on the way to work. The burglaries, I can't even count them. That's no way to draw the top talent to a city. And Jason Citadel just said, we're out of here.
Yeah, Joe, exactly. And I was going to try to I had something I wanted to add to the last segment as you were talking about, when things were crashing. And we're getting at the end of the show. Maybe we'll, on the first segment of the Half Empty Cup of Joe, I want to add to what you were saying, which is, hey, this thing was going down, and, well, they just sort of bought themselves a decade or 15 years. I think that's exactly what happened, and I think there's reasons for that, why that happened. And what you just said, things are going to unwind. And as they unwind, it's going to be very painful, because if you're sitting in the seats of power, you're taken care of. Everybody else, it's every man for himself. It's nice to be good to your neighbors and good to your relatives in some other state, and trying to keep your friends going. But you know what? When it comes down to it, Joe, when things get bad, there's only so much a one guy can do, right? So you got to take care of what you're doing. You can't help anybody else if you can't help yourself.
Amen to that. Patriot Radio News Hour, we're done with the show for today.